Hi everyone, welcome. Thank you for joining me. Thank you, chat monitors, for your help. Hi, Patricia Epperson, Eduardo Shurenzi, Dan Para, Elizabeth Martinez. I hope everyone is having a great week. It's only Tuesday though. Those of you who are doing the corporate dance. Okay. I just read right before I came on that Maxwell, the convicted child sex trafficker, has reportedly been cleared to leave prison on work release. Imagine that. But I wouldn't worry very much about this because this is going to cause, so like I said, I believe it was yesterday, this is going to take Trump down. And it's because, I believe I mentioned it last week, she has the good on him, and her cellmates are beginning to speak out. This is going to be epic. I don't want to dwell on it too much because we've discussed it already. I already told you I think she's going to go back to to a more secure prison. I don't feel she's going to stay where she is at and enjoy all those civil liberties, if you will, or all those liberties that she's enjoying right now. That's my prediction. I don't think it's going to last because this is going to be too much for a lot of people to take, and it's the momentum against her is building as opposed to dying down. So let's see what happens. Now, I don't know, I am sure some of you saw Rachel Maddow's show last night, and she was explaining how the guards feel, National Guard I mean, feel about being deployed in California, and also members of our military. And you guys remember I told you, they won't turn their guns on us. A few MAGAs among them, I am sure they're probably going to try to create special units with the MAGAs to do Trump's bidding for him. That will break up the military. That's my prediction. And the other thing is, I did not make the connection, and I found it so disgusting. But hey, we're dealing with with the military. Those guys in California to send Trump a message, they were defecating all over the place. That was their way of sending a message to Trump. And they said, in fact, a lot of them said they would not fire on the public. And some of them, if not one commander, they had to reassign him because they refuse to carry out or take part in that thing and the deployment in California. So intuitively, based on what I hear, Rachel said last night, what I told you, I feel is going to come to pass. I just read as well, and something, this is funny. As I was shaving, right before I started shaving, I was seeing plans. They have people, they have MAGAs, at the Pentagon, and also among Trump inner circle, okay? They are drawing plans on how to quickly deploy the military to put down protest. And it's going to depend on Trump to decide which protest is peaceful, which protest scares him enough for him to declare they are a threat to him. So they're going to deploy these people to put out those protests. Good luck to him. My friends, Trump has no idea, like I've said before, and the people around him, what they are doing. I hope I'm wrong again. There is potential for the MAGAs and the military to fight against the non-MAGAs. The MAGAs will lose, along with anyone who side with the MAGA side. That's my prediction. I hope it doesn't happen. Okay? But yes, they do have plans. And I was getting it while I was shaving, and I said I was going to tell you about I'm seeing plans being drawn, and then I was shocked. I read it. It's if you go to, I'll tell you. Let me see if I still have it up. Okay. Okay, it's on Rush Story. All right. That's that. If you go on Rush Story, you will find it. They have plans to deploy the military. And intuitively, I feel the reason why those documents on what Trump is planning to do are being leaked because most people at the Pentagon and within the White House are terrified of where Trump is taking the country or where he wants to take the country. But you know something else, guys, I have to say this. I've been getting it since last night. Well, in the middle of the night, I woke up around 1 and change. I went back to sleep right after that. But as I woke up, and I'm thinking of this situation of our country, Trump is not in the best interest. He's not working in the best interest of America. Trump, as has been reported this morning, is doing everything to make the rich richer, okay? But also, he wants to harm the country at every turn. And I'll tell you, he is angry at us, the people, because we voted him out of office in 2020, and he wasn't able to remain in power. So right now, and do you guys remember after I woke up this morning, I've mentioned this before, what Eric Trump said, what his father is going to do to us. They are all in on this to hurt the country because they don't care. And if you notice, their behavior, their attitude, and I told you during the first time Trump was in the White House, I don't call him president because he's not, in my mind. He's simply a grifter who's out to hurt or destroy our country. That's how I see Trump. They know what he's doing, and they're all in. It's okay, Do you guys remember I said, I'm sorry, that's what I meant to say. And the first time I said, Ivanka and all the others, they have a black book, and they are going to try, or at least take the numbers of the most affluent people in the world to stay in contact with them and to enrich themselves. Those of you who have been with me for a long time will remember I told you. I hope you remember I said that. I can find the video. It will take me a little while. I said it around 2018, 2019. Okay. But That's what they are doing right now, because if they have enough money, they can live anywhere in the world. They don't care. But we are stuck. And why would anyone or any president of this country turn against our friends? Canada, Mexico, among others, the European nations. And the other thing is, who does Trump put in charge of our agencies? Most of them had something negative to say. For example, the education department. People he picks to run it don't think we should have an education department. Robert Kennedy. He doesn't like, the way we go about preventing disease, vaccines, for example. He's an anti-vaxxer. Now, the latest thing, the guy he's hiring at the BLS, since he fired that lady last week or the week before last, the guy who was at I don't remember his name, the low self-esteem, low life that was at the White House demonstrating that something was wrong with the numbers. And that guy had negative things to say about the BLS agency as well, Bureau of Labor and Statistics. He has something against it. Now, convince me, and to believe that's what I feel. And no one is going to try, it can convince me, trust me. Once I see something, I'm not going to change my mind. It may be a matter of time before it becomes obvious. But giving those little data points, how is Trump in the best interest of this country? And also yesterday, when he said what he said about unhoused people, a president, someone, a decent human being would never say something like that about someone who is outside in the streets, weathering rain, heat, cold, you name it, under a tent if they're lucky enough to have one. Otherwise, they end up in the shelter. Most of them don't want to go into a shelter because it's too dangerous. And then the way he spoke about them as if they are not human. Trump is not in the best interest of this country. And intuitively, I feel it's beginning to become obvious, even in the eyes of MAGA. I heard this morning MAGA is rallying, around him about DC. But like I said yesterday, DC is going to blow up on his face. And to prove what I said was right, I don't think his press conference was over. People were taking to the street to protest. And there will be more protests. And let me tell you something else. Intuitively, I feel deploying any military to put down protest will not work. And Trump will have to leave the presidency if he's still around soon thereafter. Because if you noticed yesterday, and that those who were protesting, and I was watching a couple of videos, they are asking that Trump be removed. And it's not only people in DC, a whole bunch of people around the country. DC is picking up steam. Okay. Intuitively, a lot of people in the House, Republican, and in the Senate, Republicans, are beginning to ask themselves, is it time to do something about Trump? Because this is getting too dangerous. People their constituents are beginning to revolt, if they haven't revolted already, demanding that something be done. And intuitively, I feel it's going to get more intense. Like I said before, there's a very good chance we're going to see some violence. But Trump and his family know they will not be able to leave this country. They will be here to face the consequences and pay the price for trying to destroy democracy. That's my prediction. And Bundy, Kash Patel, among others, they will all be sitting around that huge table. I told you guys I saw Trump and a whole bunch of other people sitting around. Every day, the actions that they are taking to destroy DOJ, the FBI, among other agencies that are against the best interests of this country will have consequences. It may take a little time, but mark my word, it's coming. They won't get away with this. And you know, there is a picture of that drunk from Fox News who's the AG or DA, Assistant AG in Washington, D.C., Pam Bundy and Kash Patel behind Trump. There is a picture. Look at that picture. All three of them, and that's the way I'm reading that picture, they knew Trump was lying, and they were not very comfortable with it. But they're not going to stand up for what's right. Because without Trump, they would never be in those positions. Like I told you a year and a half ago, around January, February of 2024. Dictator wannabe or dictators, they hire a bunch of ignorant people, or they surround themselves with the ignorance so that they can be loyal to them. Because, look, the perks are nice, you know. US AG, it's a big job. The perks that comes along with that, all the prestige, you know, 10,000 people. I mean, I'm just being facetious. You know, your protection, all that kind of stuff, free housing. Yeah. I predict, in the not too distant future, they will all regret those perks. They're going to realize it was not worth it. That's my prediction. I don't know if all of them will go to prison, because intuitively I feel some of them will cooperate with the government and out Trump and his family. And as I'm saying this, I'm seeing a picture of Elon. Even Elon may be implicated when the time comes for all of them to face justice. What we are watching unfolding on TV, people talking about, you know, it's a lot worse behind the scenes. And I don't know how many of you heard at the last minute this morning, Trump played Taco again. He gave China a break. He postponed the date when the tariff, he was going to impose tariff on China. It's because she is walking him like a dog. And I told you that. Meeting with Putin is not going to be in our best interest. It's going to be like a school session, a tutorial session. But Putin ought to know he can buy Trump. He cannot buy America. And we will remain free. This is temporary. That's my prediction. And he knows, by the way. Putin knows this is a heavy lift, but he has caused major damage to our democracy and our standing around the world. But it won't work. Ukraine will beat his butt off. Ukraine is not going to lose. That's my prediction. Let's see what happens. Some of you have asked me about the job market and the economy. The economy is going to take a major whack. Okay? The stock market will continue to go up and down. September, it feels like to me, is going to be a critical month. I've been feeling this for a while. We may have a major dip in September. We may. It all depends on how this idiot handles all those crazy tariffs he's popping around and trying to convince those of us who are not, or who tolerate his lies and or don't understand how tariffs work. Well, that's going to cause major problems for us. The job market is going to be in the tank for at least another 2 years. The economy, I don't feel we're going to bounce back that fast, unfortunately. The stock market will continue to go up and down. September is critical, and I feel March next year. I'm not sure why. I don't know why yet. But we will bounce back. And also, as I'm saying this, I'm being shown, a lot of people are worried. I'm worried too. Medical progress, medical development at NIH that Robert Kennedy is doing his best to destroy. We will recover. Yes, he has slowed down. He has slowed down a lot of progress that we were making, but it's only temporary. And he too will pay the price for his arrogance and for killing people. It's coming. Let me see if there are any questions. Because I don't want to keep. I didn't know about that. Sassy Fraz says, I can't believe they sold that Chinese billionaire all that land in New York. I didn't know about that one. I can't believe it either, because I heard there was something. Wasn't there some kind of law or something that prohibited? I mean, they can buy land, but they buy lands in strategic area. The Chinese, I heard. Okay. Catherine Gilbert is asking what's going on with Barron. Barron is just a little arrogant, rich boy. He doesn't understand our plight. He just goes and do what arrogant 19, I don't know however old he is, 18, 19-year-old do. You know, enjoying himself. He has nothing to do with what his father is doing. He's enjoying, our tax dollars, traveling with his dad and going to school. From what I understand, he goes to Columbia. So that's what he's doing. And he's advising, since they all advise, they are all advisors, official or non-official. He's the one I heard, okay, who advised his father to start getting, convince his dad to get into crypto. I don't know. That's what they said, and it sounds right, because a lot of young people, well, this is a bet. It's like a bunch of grifters, a bunch of thieves, okay? A bunch of people who are running around conning people out of their money. And you have a lot of rich people like Baron, that's the way they pronounce it in French. They think it's fun. They create some kind of cryptocurrency or something, okay, and they con people into investing in it. I have a couple of clients who fell victim to that stuff. I have a client who lost her life saving, her retirement money. So people like Byron, a bunch of young people, they get rich quick. Just like, I forget the name of that guy, that young guy that went to prison a couple of years ago. The guy with dark hair who looks homeless, like he's a homeless, you could mistaken him for a homeless person in New York City, that guy. Byron is not too far from his way of thinking. They convince you they know everything. They don't know squat. And you're naive, you treat people the way you like to be treated, you trust them and invest, and you lose everything. And they think it's funny. Yeah. So that's what Byron is up to, looking for ways to make money using crypto, among other stupid things. If he was smart, none of them, even Eric, who went on Twitter and said, watch what his father is going to do. Guess what? That stuff doesn't go one way. And a bunch of former leaders of different federal agencies wrote a letter and said, and warned everybody, and the Trump regime, dictatorships don't end very well. And like I told you one day, I'm seeing his picture. I'm trying to see, okay, Ceausescu. I had to get his name to flash in front of me so I could read it, sorry. The Ceausescu family and the Saddam family. If I were the Trumps, think about that. All those former leaders who wrote that letter are not wrong. And I predicted what I expected some leaders to step up, and I did not know, they were going to say this. But I predicted that before, because I've been calling Don Jr. and Eric, Saddam Hussein's son's name, Uday and Qusay, but they have no idea what I'm talking about. Let's see what happens. Hi, Julian Wilson. I'm looking for questions. And I mentioned the military already because the major reason why I put the military there is because some of the stuff Trump is doing, well, he's destroying everything. Everything he touches dies. As I was writing the title of this video this morning, I keep getting the military and the potential for the breakup that I mentioned a number of times. If Trump and his enablers succeeded in deploying them on American cities, that will break up the military, and it will be the end of the Trump administration. So that, but that's what was bothering me. So I put down military because I wanted to make sure I told you guys what I was getting intuitively. And believe me, they don't want to take part in the Trump shenanigan. And intuitively, I feel that's why Trump and the people around him have not declared he is president for life. It is because they are not confident they have the military with them. The usual. No critical thinking, no planning or anything. Their plan was how to go and take over. They never thought about how those people they are planning on abusing, how they're going to respond, or the tools, or those they're going to use as their tools to achieve their goals, their aims. And now they're waking up. It is getting very scary among some of them. The task is beginning to look insurmountable. And if you watch Trump and the people around Trump and Trump himself yesterday, that's not the face of someone who's confident. I mean, he's a sick guy anyway. It feels like to me, whatever he's suffering from, he's getting worse. And he's getting more paranoid. Trump knows if he doesn't get this done, and some Republicans, and by the way, the Heritage Foundation will be destroyed. That's my prediction. I don't know how it's going to happen, but watch that. And that's going to be part of after the end of this regime, the aftermath, the anger, the American people are going to have will be directed toward that organization and everyone around Trump who was helping him carry out the destruction of this country. That's going to become obvious, or if it's not already getting obvious, since I can confuse how people who are not in touch with or don't want to recognize that that when they have a gut feeling about something or their intuition. So sometimes I'm confused. Okay, am I the only one saying this? So I don't know how other people are seeing it. But to me, it's becoming clear that people are beginning to get Trump. And by the way, I almost forgot to tell you, as I'm saying this, I'm seeing the article flashing in front of me. I read something last night. Conservatives, I don't know if they mark that conservative, but they're saying conservatives are bailing out on Trump, and they are part of his base. They are beginning to bail out on him. Let's see what happens. Remember, guys, I told you, majority of his base would abandon him. I read that last night. Okay, they didn't say the majority. They said they are beginning to abandon him. They're beginning to jump ship. Let's see what happens. Okay. I'm looking for questions. Della Jane says, Mimi, do you think there will be significant layoff happening soon? Yes. I don't know how soon, but yeah, unfortunately, the job market is going to get really bad. Okay. It is very scary. Let me tell you, I am very concerned. I've said that I've been saying this for over a year now, that though this guy, if he were to be reelected, what he would do, because I expect a major recession. And I did not know tariff is how he was going to get us there. But that's what's going to kill everything, or is killing everything. Okay. Melissa Thompson says, talk about them trying to make 14 legal age for crime and for consent. Yeah, well, yeah, I saw that drunken woman. I don't know what the legal age is, but they don't, well, it's because they're talking about Washington, D.C. Look, I understand if there is a problem and some young people, you wonder, well, from broken homes and traumatized past, they go out and do things. You want to really choke them. I understand that, but when you're in charge, you don't do that. I can sit here and talk all I want. I have no power. I'm not going to do anything to anybody. But when you're in power, you got to watch what you say. And it's the same thing with those who are homeless. They go out and do, the young 13, 14-year-old go out and do stupid things because they're not thinking. They're not like me, you who are, you look back and say, no, we didn't know anything at 13, 14. We were so dumb, we thought we knew everything. And the same thing for these kids. Some of the stuff I did at 13, 14, when I look back, I'm like, oh my God. My father gave me a racing bike. Okay? Guys, I was going down, it wasn't a steep hill, but it was a little hill. And I was in Haiti at the time, okay? There was a truck, and there was like an embankment. There was a drop. If I had fallen off, I would have killed myself. I would have died. And in Haiti, there wasn't very much to treat anybody. So there must have been maybe about 3 feet between the truck, 3 or 4 feet, maybe 5 max, if that, okay? I don't remember. I'm just giving you an approximate. And I just flew by the truck. The truck was parked. And I just flew by it. And I kept on going. And I thought it was a good thing. I was a good bike rider. And I made it. But now when I look back, and I think if I had fallen, anything that happened, I could have died. But at that time, I thought it was because I was good at riding bikes. That's the difference. And yesterday, I don't remember if it was last night or during the day yesterday, I was talking about young gang members in Haiti that are killing people and how they can't even eat nor buy shoes to wear. And they are, they have heavy, expensive weapons they're carrying. Somebody's giving it to them. But I kind of lost track of what I was saying because I became so afraid. Let me tell you guys, if you don't have good shoes in Haiti, okay, to prevent you from stepping on a bottle, I don't know why people do it. But when people just throw a bottle and it breaks. In those days, it was glass. It was not plastic. If you step on those things, it happens in Haiti, and you have an infection, you're dead. If they don't have money to take you to a hospital. I was giving the examples and trying to, explain what I was saying. I was so scared. And last night I was thinking about that again. But these young kids, they don't know. But the drunken woman and Trump, they don't care. The black, he doesn't like them anyway. He doesn't like us anyway. So, 13, 14, send them to the, I wouldn't be surprised if people like Stephen Miller or something is not trying to find a way to get rid of. Let me tell you guys, if Trump lasts long enough, I forgot to mention this yesterday, I wouldn't be surprised. And intuitively, I feel they're already planning it to force black people out of D.C. I forgot to mention it yesterday. Watch that space. If they last long enough. But I'm associating Stephen Miller with the ovens that the Nazis used to use in Germany. Pierre, if you notice how he wants migrants to be treated, us minorities, they don't care, or people of color, they don't have good plans for us, but they won't last that long. Yeah, and they will be knocking on the wrong door. That's my prediction. Let's see what happens. Okay. Okay, I think this is it, my friends. I'm looking for questions, I think. Leslie, or Lee B. Oops. Fix my glasses. And I'm trying to see. Libby 7452 says, Milo, will the Supreme Court overturn marriage equality? I doubt it. I saw that this morning. Not that they wouldn't want to. Okay. They haven't argued the case. So, but I haven't seen it.
I didn't understand that.
That's my phone. I was thinking about it this morning. I didn't see it overturned yet, but I will let you guys know. Okay, if I get it, because I don't like that woman at all. The woman who went to the Supreme Court. Oh God. In fact, I was thinking, well, who gave her the right? What do you care? Take care of your own business. But if anything, if I see it's going to change, because I didn't get them overturning it. So if I see anything change, I'll let you know. All right, friends. Thank you very much, everyone, for spending time with me. Thank you, chat managers, for your help. I appreciate it. If anyone would like a reading from me, the link to my website is below the video, psychicmilo.com, or feel free to call me or text me on my YouTube number. If you like the channel, please subscribe. If you are not a subscriber yet, because I'm trying to reach 1 million now. Also, don't forget to tap on the notification bell. Please give me a thumbs up. I would really appreciate it. I will see you all tomorrow at the same time, unless something major happens later. And I'm also on, I just created an account on Substack. I don't know how I am going to do it, if I'm even going to, I think I'm going to start posting there too, because YouTube is not, it's getting a little tiring for me. We'll see. But I just created a profile on Substack. So let's see what happens. Thank you, everyone. I'll see you all tomorrow. Till then, bye.